Black Christmas is one of the single worst horror films I have ever seen, but it's one of the best comedies I've ever seen. Black Christmas is a movie that was written, shot, and edited together and then put in theaters in just 6 months. The result of such an absurdly rushed production cycle is a horror movie that isn't scary, with plot holes in every scene, and so bad it's good comedy that you would think that Neil Breen made it. This movie is every bit as bad as movies like Wish Upon or Truth or Dare, but the writers of Black Christmas decided that they had to throw in social commentary that would feel right at home in an episode of 13 Reasons Why. If you enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe, help me get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I would really appreciate it. But overall, what is it that makes this movie so bad? The first scene. So tons of horror movies start off with a short that tries to set the mood, usually involves people dying, and they're trying to foreshadow some kind of creepy events that are going to happen later on in the movie. So in Black Christmas, we have this sorority that's throwing a Christmas party, and this sorority sister is walking to the Christmas party, and apparently her friend just casually bought her a dildo?
Perfect gift. Oh my god. You told me yours disappeared. And every girl needs a little self-care. Now you'll never need a man.
So she's walking in the street and receives an ominous message on her phone. I don't know why every shitty horror film has the need to have a dumb knockoff of a real-life app. So in Wish Upon, instead of Instagram, they had Pix-a-Post, and in Black Christmas, instead of Yik Yak, we have Yip Yap. I guess no one told this boomer director that everybody stopped caring about Yik Yak in 2015. So the message that she gets is just a pig and a cat emoji, and this freaks her out for some reason. So then the messages get more ominous, and she thinks that they're being sent by this dude that's walking behind her. And then it turns out he's just minding his own damn business. So this guy in a black cape starts chasing after her, and he would have killed her so easily, but instead he just starts fucking around. Alright, so now she has no idea where the killer is, and she starts knocking on the door of this house, trying to get their help. Let's see if you guys could take a guess as to what happens next. Does she A, incapacitate herself and get herself killed? B, the killer just shows up in the yard and stabs her? C, the killer was a hallucination the whole time? Or D, she rips the mask off the killer and the killer was really herself the entire time? Well, luckily for you, what really happens is dumber than all 4 of these options. So apparently the killer somehow teleported inside of the house that the girl had not yet ran to yet, and waited for her to bang on the door for help, and then opened the door to surprise her. What if she had, I don't know, ran away, or done literally anything else other than the one very specific thing that you needed her to do in order for this plan to work out? And then to top it all off, he stabs her to death with an icicle? You didn't even bring a murder weapon to this murder that you planned? What if there was no icicle, or it broke and couldn't pierce her skin or something? Who wrote this? The good news is that we're only 1 scene in and it's a fustercluck already. And then we get to see this?
I have a final in 10 minutes and I can't find my Diva cup.
Do women actually do this? I would ask my audience, but...
So women, do they put on tampons in front of each other?
No, we don't.
So, this is our main character, Riley. She has no discernible personality features, that way she's as inoffensive as possible. She's a blank slate. That way the viewer can project herself onto her. Isn't that great? Also, what you'll quickly notice is that Riley and all of her friends have the exact same personality, and we get no dialogue that fleshes them out at all. But this conversation does establish one important thing. All these characters do is complain about how difficult their lives are.
The day of that performance, I totally lost my voice and I couldn't sing.
What did you do?
I was doing everything. I was gargling salt water, I was drinking tea, I was rubbing peppermint oil all over my body.
They do this in almost every scene of the movie, and it gets really frustrating to watch people just complain about how difficult their lives are and then never actually do anything to fix it.
Calories, please.
Who calls food calories? Riley's friends also really enjoy bringing up the most tragic moments of her life all the time.
Is it bad we're calling it orphan's dinner? Since you're...
Wait, my parents are dead?
You know, how friends talk, and then this thing happens?
Can someone figure out how to turn that thing off? It woke me up at 4 in the morning.
Gee, I wonder if that's gonna be reincorporated in the movie.
Can someone figure out how to turn that thing off?
You know, you can just unplug it. So as you can tell, this character introduction scene just kind of shows off a bunch of different characters who all look, act, and talk exactly the same. Also, nobody really seems to be worried at all that a sorority girl went missing. That seems like it should be a big deal. I don't know. So then we get this lecture scene, and this professor seems kind of peeved that there's a petition going around to get him fired.
When there's a petition circulating to have me fired,
I have no nefarious plot.
Gee, I wonder if there's gonna be a twist villain in this movie.
enjoy your winter breaks, and a Merry Christmas to you all.
Wait, you gave a lecture on the last class of the semester? There wasn't a final? What kind of professor does that? What kind of students show up to that? Did anyone writing this film actually attend college? Hey, wanna see this new character get summed up in one sentence?
You already got the college to remove the founder's bus from the administration building. Isn't that enough crusading for one semester, Chris?
Now we get introduced to the character of Chris. She has no discernible personality from any of the other characters, but I guess she's kind of different because she's the one main character who complains about her life all the time, but then is actually doing things to try to change it. But aside from that, she acts no different from any of the other several main characters that we have. I honestly do not understand why all of these characters are being introduced to us when they all act essentially the same. It doesn't add any sort of unique dynamics or drama to this group. None of them even talk to each other in any sort of realistic way, and they're holding hands when walking down the street, apparently. Then they all hang out in this coffee shop to complain about their lives some more. Then this guy Phil comes in, and Riley doesn't seem to be very happy about it. So here is where the horror film kinda transforms into a cheesy episode of 13 Reasons Why. So apparently Riley has this tragic past where she was assaulted by a frat dude named Brian Huntley. I only remember his name because he's the only character in the movie that has a last name. A topic like this requires a lot of subtlety, but this film has the subtlety of dynamite. So Phil comes in and just acts like a cliche frat bro jock bully right out of a Disney Channel original movie.
We're going skiing together. Don't worry. It's consensual.
And then he says this.
Keep the change.
You didn't buy anything! So despite the fact that our main characters have said nothing but negative things about the DKO frat, they all decide to go to a party hosted by them anyway. All of the girls plan on performing some kind of Christmas song, and one of them just lets their boyfriend stay in the room while they all get changed? And then she calls her boyfriend Smoosh the whole movie, and it really just makes me want to vomit.
Smoosh, can you take a photo of all of us?
Of course.
So Riley starts looking around for their friend upstairs, and up there she stumbles upon the frat doing some kind of satanic ritual. I guess they had decided to host their secret satanic ritual at the same time that they had invited lots of people to come over for a party, and with the door completely unlocked. Sure. So their friend Helena gets too drunk and Riley puts her in an Uber and sends her back to the dorm. And now, oh no, one of their performers is missing. How will they perform up on the rooftop now? So the girls are trying to convince Riley to sing with them, and I would like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that this is supposed to be a horror film. So Riley agrees to sing with them, and it begins the most confusing scene in the entire movie. So the girls start their singing and dancing routine, and their vocal performances kinda suck.
Up in the frat house, me and you know what I'm there to do.
But the most important thing here is that Brian Huntley, the guy who had attacked Riley, shows up. So given the sensitive subject matter, you would think that the film would handle this with some kind of subtlety or respect, right? So let's take a guess at what happens next. A. Spooky ghost possesses Brian Huntley. B. Everything is actually happening in Riley's head. C. Riley starts freestyle rapping. Or D, a demon flies into Brian Huntley's throat and then he starts performing up on the rooftop with them also. Well, congrats if you guessed C. Get ready to hear some of the hottest bars you've ever heard in hip-hop.
And that is that I got attacked up in the frat house. Shit went down, and I'm telling everyone in town.
So for some reason, the director decided to have a large portion of the audience cheering and laughing during this. Why? A horrible tragedy happened to her, and these absolute psychos think that it's funny? It reminds me of when Common wrote that song about depression and just had that awful "who can relate" line. Who can relate? Woo! So then all the girls triumphantly leave the party and we meet Riley's love interest. Yes, I have seen this movie 3 times, and no, I do not know this man's name. Listen to this realistic young people dialogue.
See you next yeet.
Yo, we hella lit up in this yeet. Am I right, my fellow college students?
See you next yeet.
So then we see Helena packing up a suitcase. Ooh, scary. Okay, every single scare scene in this film is exactly the same kind of jump scare that we have seen 1,000 times. You have a character who is some kind of excuse to be alone, followed by all of the sound being cut out, and then a jump scare. It can be seen from a mile away, and sometimes it literally just feels like a parody of itself. So then the next morning we have Diva Cup Girl telling Riley that apparently she's leaving her cat at the sorority house over winter break. What an awful cat owner. Also, she says this.
My sister, biological.
I mean, you're not technically wrong, but who talks like that? Okay, so now Diva Cup Girl is alone and all the music cuts out. Gee, I wonder if there's gonna be a jump. So then they look for Christmas trees while complaining about their lives some more, and Riley gets a call from Helena's mom, who is concerned that Helena is missing. So Riley tries to call Helena, but Helena won't answer her phone.
Hey, it's Riley. Give me a call when you get this. Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
So now Riley's worried. So Riley tells her friends that now Helena and the girl from the first scene have both gone missing. And none of her friends seem to give a single shit.
Okay, let's not forget that she did have food poisoning last night and could have easily overslept and gotten on a later train. She is only a couple hours late.
And then Riley starts to get ominous messages from the Calvin Hawthorne account on Yik Yak, so she takes a walk to campus security. It's just so painfully annoying that we have... Wait, what kind of a pathetic excuse for a sandwich is this? It's like 2 slices of white bread, and then a single slice of ham, and then just a fuck ton of mayo. Who makes sandwiches like that? Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cooking with Cunt, and for this week we're taking a look at the God tier ham sandwich from Black Christmas. To start off, we are going to be using 2 slices of white bread, plain. Personally, I bought mine at Walmart, but you can get yours at your local gas station where you buy cigarettes. Next up, a single slice of ham, because we don't want this to be too spicy. Next, we're going to be adding a little bit of mayo. Perfect for holidays. So Riley tells campus security about what's happening, and this campus security officer is just a total asshole to her for absolutely no reason. It kind of reminds me that everyone in this film is just a total unlikable asshole. All the men just talk shit about all the women of the women just talk shit about men, and Riley and all of her friends just constantly complain about how awful their lives are, and the sorority sisters have disappeared at this point, and Riley seems to be the only one that acts like she cares. The security and Riley's friends don't seem to care at all. The only people in this film that don't seem like complete assholes all of the time are Riley and the dude that she likes. Then they have this argument scene, and it really doesn't feel like these people are friends or even like each other at all. They all speak in such a hateful way towards each other that you would honestly get the impression that they just don't care about each other at all. Listen to this argument and tell me it wasn't written by Twiter.
Why are you allowed to say all this shit about men and we're supposed to just sit here and take it?
Because men have all the power.
Not all men have power.
Did you just not all men me? Did you just...
Not all men are Chris, okay? I'm not!
Oh look, a character is alone and it is quiet. I wonder if there's gonna be a... So then this guy shows up to kill them and uses a bow and arrow for some reason. Maybe this would have been useful. Oh, I don't know. When you grabbed an icicle to use on the girl in the opening scene, the dude with the bow and arrow kind of chases them around the house, and it isn't really scary at all, and it's just really boring.
Show yourself, coward! This is a man!
And then the killer gets a perfect opportunity to kill Riley, but instead he just starts fucking around instead. Oh wow, that was reincorporated later. This movie's smart. So this movie is rated PG-13. I'm not against the idea of a PG-13 horror film. A movie doesn't need blood, guts, sex, and cursing in order to be scary. But there is a point when you try to do too much with the PG-13 rating and it just ends up looking stupid. Here, she picks up the keys and punches this dude with them, and he just kind of flops over and dies. This is a PG-13 movie with no blood. There are so many moments that are intended to be scary, but just end up looking laughable because there's no blood. Either have a gory rated R movie or have a PG-13 movie that doesn't have scenes like this. You cannot do both. So then they think they won, and then, oh no, there's more than one killer.
What a twist!
Alright, the people watching, if you are completely lost right now, honestly, I do not blame you. So, what is happening right now is a cult of masked men is out there killing all the sorority girls across campus, and the film is somehow treating the identity of these killers as a mystery, as if we weren't shown the DKO frat earlier that hates women and literally had a satanic ritual. Did you honestly really think that anyone would be watching this movie and think to themselves, gee, I wonder who could be behind all these murders. Ooh, maybe it's the people who were in the coffee shop earlier. So then there's this scene in a car where all they do is recap the events of the movie for 3 agonizing minutes. This scene is just absolutely insulting. They are literally just assuming that the audience is too stupid to have kept up with whatever is going on and felt the need to tell you exactly what has happened and what is going to happen.
Something crazy is going on.
Yeah, no shit. A bunch of dudes just try to kill us.
No, I mean, I saw that guy before, the night of the talent show.
Yes.
The Deeks were doing some sort of ritual with the pledges.
Yes, I know. I watched the movie! So I think that this is a good time to acknowledge the discourse surrounding this movie. I've been avoiding it so far because it's really just toxic. Question for everyone who's watching. Is the message of a film enough to make or break the movie for you? It's obvious that a lot of people need a film to align with their own personal worldview in order to enjoy it. Black Christmas has a heavy female empowerment message, and by reading through the IMDb reviews, it's clear that many people are giving this film a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 exclusively because of that message. I think I have a more nuanced view on this topic. I'd say for most cases, I really do not care what the message of the film is. What I'm more concerned about is how that message is handled in the film. How do the messages service the story? I'm not someone who hates a film just because it's female-oriented. Hell, my favorite movie of all time is written and directed by and stars a woman, and hell, it even has the word lady in the title. I just think that the messages of Black Christmas were handled horribly. I'm fully aware that this won't mean much coming from me, but honestly, I do not see what is empowering about having all these female characters just complain about their lives all the time and then treat everyone else around them like total shit. I don't think that it's fair to discount positive aspects of a film just because you don't agree with its messages. But I also don't think it's fair to discount all of the criticism lobbed at a film just because you do agree with its messages.
See you next yeet.
Just because someone dislikes this movie doesn't mean that they hate women and that they think women shouldn't be making movies. Ah yes, Birdemic Shock and Terror has a pro-environmental message, therefore it is above criticism, and anyone who says otherwise clearly hates the environment and is pro-climate change. Do you hear how fucking stupid that sounds? Also, hearing a defense like this seems kinda disrespectful to movies that do have positive social messages and then actually put effort into other aspects of filmmaking. Brokeback Mountain broke boundaries for gay men in the industry, but to say that Brokeback Mountain is a masterpiece because of that just isn't true. Brokeback Mountain is a masterpiece because of masterful directing, writing, acting, cinematography, music, editing, and so on and so on. The message of the film is one of literal thousands of elements that make it great. Black Christmas has none of those positive elements, and the fact that the messages of this film are the only defense that people have for it is a pretty bad sign for its quality.
You go right into this idea of male-female relationships in college.
Why is this a story that needed to be told by women?
Why do you think that horror is a good avenue for Black Christmas and how it's communicating a number of social issues to the audience?
Horror is a really great place to explore the darker aspects of humanity in ways that don't feel preachy.
Men have all the power.
Don't feel preachy.
Did you just not offend me? Did you just...
Don't feel preachy.
It seems Miss Waterson's passion for equality cannot be bridled.
Alright, so back to the ending. Riley gets kidnapped by the cult and her scrawny love interest joins the cult. Alright, you guys ready for the best plot twist ever? The leader of the cult was the professor the whole time.
What a twist!
I am not kidding you, the villain of this movie delivers a James Bond-style monologue about his evil plan.
Towards the end of his life, Hawthorne foresaw the threat posed by women. So he took precautions in case they strayed too far out of line. A master of the dark arts, he left instructions on how to create an army of young men to take our power back.
You're all insane.
No, not insane, Miss Stone. Simply men.
Don't feel preachy.
Alright, so basically all of the frat bros have been cursed with the spirit of the frat's founder, and he is possessing them to do evil and sexist things. And then, as if this movie wasn't stupid enough, they have an absolutely nonsensical Avengers-style action scene.
You messed with the wrong sisters.
So they light the cult on fire and lock them inside the house and then run out of the house and watch all of those horrible monsters burn alive from a safe distance. Happy ending. Isn't that sweet? Wait, that's what the movie pretends happens. But let's just back up a few minutes, because that's not actually what happens. So the professor says that the spirit of the frat's founder is in the bust and is possessing all of the boys and making them do evil things. The spirit possesses Nameless love interest and then he joins the cult, and then as the fight goes on, Riley smashes the bust and lifts the spirit out of all of the frat members. Meaning now, aside from the professor and Brian Huntley, they are all presumably innocent college students who are only doing evil things because they were possessed by an evil spirit. And we even get verbal confirmation that Riley and her love interest know this.
Sorry, that wasn't me. They did some magic shit.
And I guess they decide, fuck it, let's just burn them alive anyway. The two good people in the film are responsible for burning alive dozens of innocent college students. Incredible. Sure is convenient that building had no emergency exits. This movie has legitimately no redeemable qualities. The characters are all awful people who treat their friends like crap. Nothing about it is scary. Every single scene has so many nitpicks and plot holes that I had to seriously control myself from naming all of them. If I did that, this video would have just been 4 hours long. Overall, I just found the whole movie hilarious and a big waste of time and money. You know what? I take it all back. This movie's absolutely perfect. Actually, it's almost perfect. The only thing I would change about it is give it the whole franchise treatment. The Black Christmas Cinematic Universe, or the BCCU, if you will. Here are a few film titles that I think would make billions of dollars. The Black and the Christmas, Too Black to Christmas, The Black and the Christmas Tokyo Drift, Black and Christmas, Black 5, Black and Christmas 6, Christmas 7, The Fate of the Christmas, Black and Christmas presents Phil and Brian. Watch the box office explode. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I hate women and they shouldn't make movies. Goodbye.
Women are stupid and I don't respect them. That's right, I just have sex with them. Show me your genitals. Your genitals. What? Show me your genitals. You're talking to me about stuff. Why? I'd rather see your titties. Now you're talking about other stuff.